What's up, crypto world? This is Yosef, aka Crypto Yosef, and today we're going to be doing a technical analysis on Ripple, and this one's going to be very interesting. So we're going to really go deep into where Ripple can go. There's so many possibilities. It's pretty crazy. So before we get into that, I just want to preface the video by asking you guys to click the like button. It helps me out tremendously, especially to get higher on the search results. And with Ripple, it's really difficult to get high on search results. So the more likes I can get, the better it is for me, the more it helps me. So please click that like button down below. It will help me out tremendously. And also comment down below what you guys think of Ripple and which situation you think is gonna happen most likely. I'll let you guys know my opinion here, and you always want to take technical analysis with a grain of salt because markets can change, bearish, bullish, stuff like that happens. The market, especially in cryptocurrency, changes much faster than traditional markets. And follow me on Twitter. I tweet out a lot of good information, and that's about as much as I'm going to advertise on Twitter. It speaks for itself if you guys go stalk my Twitter. So let's get into the technical analysis. So looking at Ripple, there is a lot of symmetrical triangles, that's for sure. So there's a lot of triangles that we're going to talk about here today. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So let's go ahead and start off with the 4-hour chart pattern. All right, we'll go ahead and start with this chart pattern. Or should we start with the 1-hour chart pattern? 4-hour chart pattern actually shows everything I do want to go over. So we're going to go ahead and use the 4-hour chart pattern here and kind of look at what's going on here. We could consider this whole thing still a correction for the D wave. You could consider some sort of ABC correction happening here within the Elliott wave theory, but I still want to kind of argue that we're in some sort of sideways action that's going on because we went into this mini bearish divergence because we broke below that uptrend sort of thing that we had going on here. If you see, we have this uptrend going on, and then we kind of break sideways out of it. We move sideways out of it, and there's a lot of things to argue here. So I'm going to go over all those bases, and I'm going to tell you guys which one I think is probably most likely to happen. So looking here, you have so many developing, and this pink one is probably the weakest one. I drew this out like last second. I was like, okay, I kind of see this one developing. We'll see how it plays out. I kind of just adjusted it right now because it's an interesting one, and maybe I should kind of adjust it for like that. Yeah, that makes more sense because it kind of covers all these little wicks and stuff. Okay, but looking at this, there's a lot of trend lines. So the first one we're going to look at is this red one. So if you guys see, this red one actually, surprisingly, it's very slightly angled. If you look, it's very slightly angled. So you could kind of be like, oh, with one strength right there, it was pretty weak. So it's a symmetrical triangle is what I'm trying to say. You could have argued it with this angle. That's the one you could have argued there. So with that being said, this red one broke out the wrong way, right? It broke out bearish, right? It broke out with red. And so this failed. So then it led me to draw some other symmetrical triangles within this. And let me actually go ahead and get off of this EMA so we can use this one. And I'm going to show you guys a couple other indicators that I'm using. So we have Bollinger Bands. I just want to show you guys this. It's really stretching out those Bollinger Bands right now, which could mean a lot of things, and it could either go extremely lower, which I'll go over my personal opinion on how I forecast Ripple, but I'll go over all these things so you guys kind of understand everything you could really see going on before I give you guys my own opinion. That way, you guys don't just be like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna just go with your opinion. So those are Bollinger Bands. There's a lot of things that can happen with that. It can go even lower because sometimes Bollinger Bands can really stretch out, or it could mean, hey, this is the bottom. Maybe you should, look for, because it's at the complete bottom of the Bollinger Band. You can consider it, okay, we're near the bottom. Now we're going to look at some MACD and some RSI, some pretty simple stuff, simple indicators, simple oscillators here. Looking at this, the last time Ripple ran down to this range, it bounced. And right here, it bounced again. So it's a pretty bouncy spot for Ripple. Sometimes it likes to go a little bit lower and then bounce. But when you're using this oscillator, you always want to consider the trends in the market because it can go lower. Like sometimes it can get real deep. But that's out of the point. I'm just having these oscillators on so I can talk about them later. Let's continue with looking at these triangles that I have out here. So out of auto now. The next one that led me to draw was this big blue one. If you look at this big blue one, it's also a symmetrical triangle. So it can go bearish, it can go bullish, it can go either way. But I kind of want to say it's actually more of a pendant too. And the reason why I say it's more of a pendant is if you look out here, it looks like a pendant to me. Yeah, you could say it's a symmetrical triangle, but it looks a lot like a pendant. And the reason why it looks a lot like a pendant is if you look at it on a one-day chart, it looks like a pendant. Like, it really looks like a pendant, and pendants usually break out bullish. The reason why I want to argue that it's a pendant is because pendants just go up, you're in an uptrend, you form a pendant, it pretty much means you move sideways for a little bit, and you break out. And it's bouncing off these perfectly, and you have this reversal. So on, I think I moved something. So on this pendant, you see it bounce right here, right? This is a red stick and it ran up, and you see this reversal hammer. So it's a reversing candlestick, and it's on the day chart, so it means it's pretty strong. And if we look, it actually looks pretty scary looking at it through oscillators, but with this being a reversal, it could mean a few things. So we could reverse out of this and we could curve this RSI back up, and MACD would come very close to closing like it is right now, and then it'll actually adjust once the next candlestick comes out and open back up, going keeping the blue above the orange. So that is a possibility. Now this is why you always want to look at oscillators and not go based off just a candlestick or just a pattern, or there's a lot of things you want to consider. So with that being said, Ripple is a very 50-50 gamble here right now, and it's pretty much, if you're playing Ripple, it's sort of like a gamble. I have all my holdings of Ripple still in play. Like I haven't accumulated more Ripple, although this probably could be a good zone to accumulate Ripple if this is a pendant, and it does look like a pendant right now, and that could be a possibility. But with Ripple right now, it looks like such a 50-50 gamble, and it's kind of tough because right here you could have argued it's a reversal ascending triangle, and it wasn't. It was just a what do you call it? My tongue twister. I'm talking too fast for my brain to speak, but you could argue that it was just another, symmetrical triangle. You could argue that it was a bearish symmetrical triangle because of the way it was formed, because it kind of came in from the top and then it ran down and then it ran back up and it ran back down. So that's how you can kind of argue that. Usually with bullish symmetrical triangles, you kind of come into them and you bounce. So yeah, that's why that one didn't really work out, because it started from the top and ran down, and it kind of had lower lows and lower lows. So that's sort of how it's looking. And within this bigger one, you can kind of argue the same thing, because you see it goes up and it bounces, it goes up and it bounces. So you can argue that this is an even bigger bearish symmetrical triangle, or you can argue that it's just a pendant that's forming. So there's a few things you can really argue here, and that's why Ripple is such a 50-50 gamble right now, because the oscillators, this is also why you want to understand looking at different chart times as well, because on the 4 hour this looks like a great buying opportunity, and it looks like we're going to have some swings, and maybe all that means is we're just going to swing up to right here. We're going to see 86 cents and we're going to go right back down, and then maybe we might break down significantly, because if you look at the day chart, it looks like we probably will possibly break down and see much more red. But day charts go by day candles, so it takes much longer for these oscillators to truly develop which way it's breaking. Where when you look at a 4 hour chart, there's obviously much more candlesticks to look at and oscillators to base it off of. So you could play a 4 hour chart, except you always want to look at your larger charts and smaller charts to really understand how the market is going. If you trade off one single chart, it is riskier because you're not looking at this certain crypto in multiple perspectives. So yeah, Ripple mini, like in this time span, you could see it swing up to this 86-87 cent range. If it breaks that would be amazing, but it could easily break the other way too. It could break back down and we could see a bearish trend for Ripple because we broke out of this really bullish symmetric, like this bullish channel that we had developing here. We broke out of it, we've gone sideways, and we can pretty much break 50-50. We can go up or down. It's such a gamble. You guys really wanted the technical analysis on Ripple, so that's what I got for you guys here. So this could have been the wave 5 right here. Oh, that just adjusted everything because it made perfect sense. It's because if you look here, this ABC correction pattern also made perfect sense. But if you look right here with wave D, which is your 4th wave on the LA wave, this could have landed right here. Right. Oh, still A. Oh my gosh, let me click my Elliott waves. Sheesh. Alright, well, I'll move this one. So if you look, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, come on, D, work with me. No, alright, I'm going to just move these. Okay, I'm going to just hide those ones. Those ones are being irritating right now. So we're just going to hide those guys, and we're going to move this guy over. So, looking at how this happened, this is a one-to-one extension, and that's completely okay. That can happen with Elliott wave theory. That could be your final wave. It could just be that one-to-one extension, and that's what this looks like it is. And how that's determined is if you understand how Elliott waves are drawn out. You could argue that that's it. That was it for wave 5, and we're on to the next thing, and we're in a correction phase right now. So we have this triangle forming, and it can pretty much break up or down. It's like a 50-50 gamble because you can argue so many different things for that triangle pattern. So pretty much what I'm telling you guys is it can go up or down, but you could probably see an 86-87 cent range Ripple if you guys want to sell out before. Or, you know, you might want to play. You might be like, okay, what if it breaks out here? Or if it bounces again, you still don't know if it's going to break out or if it's going to break up. So that's why it's so hard to know if you should sell or buy within this range. But if you want to confirm, pretty much we're probably going to go to 87 cents in the short term here. But we're probably going to go back down again. We're probably going to bounce within this triangle one more time before we figure out which way we're breaking. And that's what the risk is within this one right here, because usually you get 3 touches and then you kind of find out where you're going with that triangle breakout. So it's 50-50 right now. Ripple is a 50-50 gamble. So if you're a gambler, you know, high risk, high reward. So you could buy in right now. You'd probably get about, what is that, 4 cents? You'd get 5%, 6% gains. That could be nice. You could do a lot if you have a huge amount of Ripple and then you move it out. You know, 5%, 6% is pretty big. It's nice, especially if this does break out the wrong way. Then you could really accumulate a much more Ripple and get much more buy power if this triangle breaks the other way around. So that's all I could really say with Ripple. It's really hard to predict which price we're going to really see because it's in such this sideways 50-50 gamble. So yeah, that's all I could really tell you guys about Ripple. And yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this technical analysis and kind of understand why it's so confusing. And this is why I hate the 5th wave, and why I was telling you guys earlier within my Ripple videos and any technical analysis video, I always say I don't personally like to play the 5th wave. But I wanted to play this one because, you know, we're in this really, really bullish channel, and then we just moved sideways because the 5th wave wanted to do that one-to-one extension, and that can happen. So that's pretty much what that's what it is, because it could have had that one-to-one extension, or we could have ran all the way up to here, 120. So that's why the 5th wave is something else. 5th waves are definitely something else. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this technical analysis, and that's why Elliott wave theory is important when you're doing technical analysis, to understand why sometimes some things like that happen. Although when you're just looking in different perspectives, if you're going off pure candlesticks or you're looking at all these patterns that are repeating, you kind of can do it without Elliott wave theory, although Elliott wave theory does help a lot. A lot of people get different counts and stuff like that, so you really want to master your craft, or you have to be very confident within the Elliott wave theory. Like I was very confident with this Elliott wave theory, and we got all of these calls right from wave 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's just that 5th wave, like I said, it's the biggest gamble, so it's hard to forecast, and I told you guys that while I was forecasting that 5th wave, and I guess we saw that one-to-one extension, and that was about it. Now we're in the sideways action, and now we're in a 50-50 gamble yet again. So we'll have to see what happens with this break. After we see which way it breaks out, we can really determine how we're going to play Ripple. So I'll probably update you guys after we see some sort of break. I'll definitely tweet out which way Ripple is going to be breaking once I kind of get a confirmation in my head and kind of understand which way we're going to really be breaking. But right now, it's 50-50. That's all I could really tell you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this technical analysis. If you're watching it to the end, thank you. And yeah, if you guys like gambling, high risk, high reward, or high risk, big L's, then play Ripple right now. There might be some other cryptos like Icon right now that could be much safer bets than Ripple. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in my Icon technical analysis here in a couple minutes. I'm going to record it, but probably in an hour or so you guys will see that up on the channel as well. So stay tuned for that and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And thank you guys for watching the video to the end. And if you guys are still here, please leave a like down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.